The Six Nations campaign last year, it wasn't great, but got a bit of a free pass at the end. This year, there's much more pressure on the Six Nations campaign. It feels to me that like we legitimately have to be contending going to that final game on Paddy's weekend.
Yeah, we got a pass, I think, last year, and we're not good chasing a game. And the reasons for that is we're not hugely expansive. We don't throw the ball around willy-nilly. There's a big emphasis on protecting the ball and being secure. And I know there's been a lot said about, not taking risks. I don't buy into that fully. I think it's being more efficient rather than being more expansive at times. And getting the scoreboard ticking over. We're a very hard team to claw back against. So we got caught a little bit in the Six Nations, against the obviously we got caught in the hop in Scotland when we had an horrendous start, came back and then lost it again, and the Welsh game. So, you're going away to England and France this year. You've got to pick up one win there and win your home games, and 4 wins, then you're in the mix. So I think there is more pressure. There is a set case now of, particularly when the South Africa game, we're creating a lot of depth within the squad.
I think that's really what this November is about, because the Fiji game this week, unless we lose that game, which you can't really see happening at the moment, there's not a whole heap now with South Africa being so poor. And let's see what Argentina are like. I don't expect them to be brilliant given their championship performances. So really, this is just about creating depth this November.
Absolutely, I think. First and foremost, you want to try and you look at any fixtures in November, and I've been involved in a few, and always the messages have been, well, we want to win the games first. That's the pressure coming from the RFU, because the international team fund the game here in Ireland. You want to win, so then the coaches have a bit of room for manoeuvre. What do the public want? What do they want first? What does the coach want around development? And of course, always the middle game is the weaker one, whether it's Canada, Georgia, Fiji, whatever, their perceived weaker team, and that's their time for big manoeuvring. So for Fiji this week, I think he'll make wholesale changes, probably a new 15.
You picked a team there, had you?
Yeah, look, it was Jack McGrath obviously comes back in, then you've got James Tracy or Rob Herring. I think James Tracy would probably start. John Ryan, Andrew Porter could play tight head.
That'd be amazing, right?
Yeah, it's some kind of turnaround from being a loose head for the under-20s a couple of years ago to now being a tight head. He's a really powerful guy.
Does that make him rich in the last 5 or 6 years of his career?
Very rich. Well, having that versatility to be able to do both, tight head is the one. That's where the ching-ching is, Jared, the tight head, because they're so vital. Then you've got James Ryan, maybe Kieran Treadwell. I think he'll definitely start Ultan Delan. It just depends whether he goes Treadwell or James Ryan.
I saw somebody in the paper today saying that James Ryan looks like a guy at the start of a 100-cap test career. I'm not sure, do you agree with that?
I do. I think he's... The key for any of these young guys coming through is the injuries. Minding the bodies. You hear O'Connell, you hear Earls, you hear these guys towards the end of their career, how they manage themselves. So if you can translate that kind of latter part of it and learn from some of those experienced guys to get it right now as a 21-year-old, getting the rehab done, doing the small little stuff rather than killing themselves with big weights or all this stuff. That's been the key for him.
O'Connell talked about in the early stage of his career, he would get himself to this ferocious emotional pitch, and he would go out and kill people in the first 20-25 minutes of games, and he felt that actually had an impact on his injury profile, that he got too intense, that actually later in his career when he found a bit of calm, obviously still the manic aggression was part of it, but it's hard for a 20-year-old not to go, I've got to go out there and kill somebody to get noticed.
Yeah, it's having that balance right and looking after your body and your mind, Ger, because the talent is there. So how do you kind of maximise that talent? How do you manage that talent from week to week? Being in the Irish system will help James Ryan because he'll get breaks, he'll get the rehab, he'll be looked after right. And I think he's a fantastic future ahead of him. He's a really, really exciting player. I first saw him a couple of years ago when I worked for the under-20s, one of the under-20s games, and I just thought, geez, this guy's work rate, his tackle, his ability to reload, get back up, make another tackle, and suddenly he's making 3 carries. Then I'm thinking, where does he get the energy from? And he has the skill set as well, so a very intelligent player.
And a bit of the dog in him as well.
He has, he's aggressive. So it's just managing himself well. So of course he can go on and win 100 caps if he gets a bit of luck and managing himself right. And just in the back row, then it could be any kind of a combination here. Will he play Reece Ruddock will probably be there. Jack Conan will start at 8. Dan Levy, of course, Tommy O'Donnell are out. Geordie Murphy comes back in. So does he play Geordie Murphy at 7? Probably will. Kieran Marmion, Keighley or Carberry. I'm not sure what he will do. Does he kind of protect Carberry a little bit, or does he stick him straight in as a 10?
You're saying his future is at 10, Carberry, so this is the perfect game, is it not, for him to play there?
His future is wherever he wants it to be, because I think he's so talented. He's a Borden Barrett type player that if he's available, he's playing.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not guaranteed that he's playing every time now for Ireland, but pretty soon he will be at that kind of level. So he either plays Keighley and puts Joey Carberry full back, where he's been familiar with this year, or plays Carberry at 10. I'm not sure which way.
Richie Murphy said during the week that they see him as a 10. They don't see him as a full back.
Yeah, well, I think he's the backup 10.
Yeah. So if that's the case,
he'd probably play 10 here.
Given the game time that he's not going to get at Leinster,
and he'd probably take him off at some stage, because he's definitely going to be involved next week against Argentina. So he'd bring Ian Keighley on. Then you've the only guarantees I can see are McCluskey and Farrell will play 10, 12 and 13 here, and then there's a bit of a mixture of Carney, Sweetenham, Adam Byrne in the back 3. So I think there'll be 14, 15 changes in the team.
And actually it's a pretty exciting team.
It's a good team, it's a good team. You won't, I think Fiji have incredible talent, individual talent. It's just the collective coming together. You think in Nakarawa, the Racing player now who's played with Glasgow, he's an incredible talent. So he scored a try from against Italy last week. They've unbelievable players in their back line. So it just, I think that's a team that Joe will back to go out and do the job.